Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Fun Speculation Podcast. I am Mav, and it is 7:21 here on Thursday, March the 12th. And sorry, I am running late. It was supposed to start at 7, but as usual, that doesn't happen. But thank you all for being patient. Fuzzy's running behind as well, so he should be here later. So right now it's just me. So might as well be a Mavcast right now. But thank you all for being here. Sub Jesse James Guns said, I'm later than your cousins, period. Wow. Wow. Well, hey, congratulations to your cousin. Def Leopard, how's it going? Carlton P, what's up? E-Ranks, BT Maverick, Joseph Lemons, how's it going as well? I hope everyone's doing good. Said, running in Texas heat sounds like a horrible idea. Yeah, no, it wasn't. It's not hot today, actually. I don't know if it's a official cold front that came through, whatever, but it's breezy and it's got a nice chill in the air right now. So everything's good here. We've been keeping up with a lot of the gaming news this past week. I watched a little bit of the Future Games Show earlier today. Been following some more of the GDC news and stuff like that. GDC was kind of a bigger event this year, right? Kind of a bigger event this year than it usually is. Usually it's just not a lot happening, but this year, I guess with the Project Helix just getting announced and them saying that they're going to be here, there's a big turnout from social media influencers type people, and also like games media, as well as game developers and stuff, trying to see what Jason Ronald has to say at GDC. And we got some good, interesting details, on what's happening as far as the direction of Project Helix. I would say pretty much kind of what we had been talking about and what we had expected. There's some technical stuff that when we get into, but I'm not a technical guy, so maybe you guys can help me figure out what some of this stuff means. As far as a lot of the technical jargon stuff goes, the promises, I'm a kind of see it to believe it kind of person. I remember earlier last generation, at the end of last generation, when we were heading into this one, everybody was all talking about RDNA this, RDNA that, ray tracing this, ray tracing that, 60 frames, 120 frames, all these things. And we didn't get a lot of that early this generation, honestly. Like, and a lot of the big games were unoptimized, kind of disappointing as far as a lot of the fidelity or performance goes, and maybe some of that was due to COVID and stuff. But it turned out it isn't until really the end of these generations, or at least the second half, till we start seeing the fruits of a lot of those promises. So a lot of those technical things regarding, ray tracing and all that kind of stuff is kind of like, well, I don't really know what it means, but, hopefully it's good, and we'll see it, the fruits of that labor, I guess, when the actual device comes out. But I am excited about everything we've learned. Sup, Shark Fu, how's it going? Sup, Buzz, how are you doing as well? The BT Maverick says yeehaws are getting deleted on your end. Is yeehaw not YouTube appropriate? I guess maybe their YouTube is saying that's blacklisted word or something. I don't know, but yeehaw, motherfuckers, yeehaw. What's up, PTK Blam? Hope you're doing good, bro. Hope you're doing good, man. Yeah, there's a lot to be excited about. One thing that's really cool, I made a tweet the other day as well, is that ever since Project Helix has been announced now, there's this new energy kind of amongst the community. And I'll even say, even before Project Helix actually was announced and had the official name, ever since the, Phil Spencer leaving, Sarah Bond resigning, and the shakeup, Asha Sharma comes in, there's been a lot of conversation about that stuff, everything going on there. Everybody asking questions. You had Jez's interview, and there's a bunch of controversy over people saying like, "Oh, Jez shouldn't have been given that interview," and blah, 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 all that bullshit. But like then Project Helix is announced, and it was just kind of a simple, clear statement of what it will do. It'll play PC or play console games and PC games and lead in performance. And I thought that was just a very crystal clear message, simple, saying what it's going to do. And then leading into GDC, we were all anticipating what is Jason Ronald going to have to say, and we actually got some interesting things that I think has brought a lot of energy and excitement as well to Xbox gamers, but I'll just also a lot of gamers in general. I had a poll that I put up on Twitter yesterday, or the day before yesterday, actually, and I didn't know how it was going to go because, like, you put up a poll, and if you include PlayStation as one thing and then Xbox as another thing, generally you're just going to get a bunch of fanboy toxic shit on there. But my question was just because of the conversation around exclusivity, a lot of people asking like, well, they need to bring exclusives back, and there's no reason to own this device unless they do that, and all these other kind of things. And I was just curious, like, how do actual like Xbox fans and Xbox console players feel about that? Because it's being made to be like a priority among many with the conversation, and it's like, do would the Xbox gamers not upgrade? Would they end up deciding to go play and get a PS6 next generation just for the fact that they can play Xbox games on the PS6 and PlayStation exclusives on the PS6, and skip Xbox? And as obviously, I wouldn't do that just because y'all know my feelings on exclusives and stuff. I don't really care either way. It can be exclusive, can be not. I just focus on what my experience is. But I was actually curious, like, in general, because of the sentiment that's out there. Like, I saw one poll that I think Gaz had posted this, and shout out to Gaz, who was at GDC. He had posted a poll saying, would you sacrifice Game Pass for Xbox to bring back exclusives? And I was actually fucking flabbergasted that the majority vote is, I think it was like 55-45, was saying to sacrifice Game Pass in order to bring back exclusives. And I'm thinking, first off, that doesn't need to be a choice. That doesn't have to be a thing. And then I was thinking, well, like, for Xbox gamers that like Game Pass and invest in Game Pass, that actually hurts us or takes away an option from us, an access point that we have as an option to play our games. Whereas losing exclusivity or not having exclusivity doesn't really affect us directly, as far as our experience of playing games or accessing them. So it was interesting. So I decided to put that poll out there. But I was actually pretty pleased. We got, there was a few knuckleheads in there. There's a couple I said this is for Xbox console owners and Xbox fans only, regarding my question of the way I phrased it was, if Xbox continues to not have exclusives next generation and PlayStation does, would you decide to skip the Project Helix and wait for PS6? And 80% was like, hey, sticking with Xbox. I'm invested into my library. It's also going to be able to play PC games, so that's also way more games than a PlayStation will be able to play. And all those are the kind of things, and that's kind of my sentiment as well, right? But there wasn't a lot of whole fanboy console warring and shit in there. I actually think there's a lot of good points made. There were some people that said, that if it doesn't have exclusives, then I'm not interested in it, which is fine. I understand that a lot of people really care about that. But yeah, it was interesting to get that feedback, and generally it seemed like more people are kind of actually thinking, maybe it's because I posted the poll, so it maybe somehow just magically it migrates to a bunch of people that have the same mindset that I do. However, there was like over 2,500 votes, I believe, on that, and it spread to a lot of people that were commenting that I've never seen their names before or anything like that. So yeah, it seemed like a lot of people they just care about their experience and having the option to play the PC games, which is going to be new for console owners, that also we're going to be able to play their console games as well. So I was kind of pleased to see that. But yeah, shout out to all you guys in the chat. Shizno Elite says Game Pass has never gotten the praise it deserves. People are too worried about looking for something to whine about. Ever since Game Pass was invented, honestly, it's been kind of one of this enigma in the industry where people are like some reasons say it doesn't have a right to exist in the form that it is. I don't understand that because it's just another option for us and nobody has to subscribe to it. But it's been very beneficial to me, and I know a lot of y'all as well. And again, like we can say what's best for the companies, or we can say what's best for us. And I think like if we keep asking for what's best for us, then that should be the mindset of a consumer, right? And having more options is always best for us. JMac said, shout out to Fun Speculation, absolute gentlemen, gray beards in the building. Xbox World Order is fully operational. Yeah, I'm sensing the rejuvenation of excitement with Xbox right now, having something new to look forward to. Obviously we have the games, right? We have this year's going to be insane. You got Forza Horizon 6 right around the corner. You got Gears E-Day coming. We got Halo remake coming. We have Fable coming. We have who knows what else. There's going to be a lot more that we have in store for this year. But this year is the year of the heavy hitters. It might be the last year we get this amount of big heavy hitters as far as the Xbox identity games all in the same year, right? Being the 25th anniversary of Xbox. It's a reason to be really looking forward to things releasing. But beyond that, now we have a name to attach to the vision for the future, and we also have a understanding of what they're trying to do now, and that was part of their goals at GDC, was to break down what are they trying to accomplish with next generation, with the tech that they're bringing forward to us, and the ideas that they have to give access to us, to our games, and not just new games, but our existing games, and other games from other libraries and stuff like that. So options are good, man. I'm pumped. I can't wait to find out more information. Obviously, we have a lot to learn. What's it gonna cost? When is it gonna release? What's it gonna look like? And then just in general, overall, how is it going to actually work? Because there's still some questions that kind of answered with that. But GDC is more geared towards the devs for the most part, telling them, about how they're going to be able to build one version of the game. It's going to work across all these different devices and places. And that's kind of their vision. So I'm looking forward to finding out a lot more. Fillmore Pocket says 35 million Game Pass subscribers paying $360 per year. Why nerf it? I'm without 8 day one exclusives that I would buy. Yeah, when they went up on the price, they went up on the amount of games coming to Game Pass day and date also. So, there's a lot of stuff that hits kind of randomly. I think Cyberpunk just hits, not a new game, but things like that matter, when you have things to look forward to constantly hitting Game Pass. So I think Xbox gamers right now are eating really well in general already, despite the last couple of years, all the negativity going around about the brand, about their vision, about the whole "this is an Xbox" campaign, about the direction they were going, and not having, or starting to put former exclusive games on other platforms and all that kind of stuff. Despite all that conversation around that stuff, man, like as far as us, just general people that are invested in the Xbox ecosystem, and that's our primary way of playing games or accessing our games, we have so much stuff, man, to play now and to look forward to. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to what they have in store for the next year of announcements, really. I mean, this is just the start. We have, besides what we just learned at GDC, which I'm going to get into more. I'm kind of pausing a little bit on that because I want to wait till Fuzzy gets here for some of that stuff. But just besides that, we already had the Dev Direct. Now we have the GDC news and Project Helix information. We just found out literally minutes ago that I guess Greg Miller was flown out to Bethesda to cover some stuff regarding Starfield. We're going to be getting Starfield content soon, and a big update regarding that. And then following that, we have the whole summer showcase to look forward to. Um, and then I imagine there's gonna be some kind of 25-year celebration. Um, plus the second half of the year, which is chock full of the heavy hitters, the heavy hitter games. So yeah, we're feasting this year in the Xbox community, and I think this is going to be interesting, kind of seeing the energy swap, right? That's happened the last couple of years leading into this year. Now we're getting kind of this like energy swap to where it's like, hey, not only are we having so much stuff to play, but now we're actually talking about next gen. We're actually getting information on next gen, and it looks really promising as far as what we are being told right now. And it's just going to come down to many of us, like, how much is it going to cost? You know, how much is it going to cost? How's it going to work? You know, and we get to look forward to those announcements now. We get to look forward to finding out that information going forward, right? Um, Buzz says, yeah, most of the ones that would sacrifice the past for exclusives probably already have given up on it. Right. Yeah, and it's like, okay, yeah, they're not interested in Game Pass. That's fine. There's a lot of people that are, though. And I was thinking about this when I had seen that poll, thinking about, okay, imagine, I was trying to imagine an announcement come down that they were sunsetting Game Pass, right? And how that would go down. Maybe it would come along with the announcement of exclusive. If it did, maybe, hey, yeah, this game's no longer going to PlayStation. This game's no longer whatever. If that poll was to become a reality, right, and that's the direction they went, and it came in the form of announcement, I'm curious how that would go down, because I know a lot of people that are championing for exclusives are also Game Pass subscribers and love Game Pass, right? And that's, for me, like a way more beneficial thing than somebody else not getting to play a game. So I was trying to imagine, like, if they actually did announce that the Game Pass is going away, how many people that are locked into the Xbox ecosystem because of it, right? Because that's the way they're now used to accessing their games, and that's a selling point for them jumping into next gen. How many people view that as an actual selling point for Xbox, that losing Game Pass would actually dissuade them from potentially getting a next gen Xbox as well? And I don't know the answer to that question, but I would maybe think it could be more people than would Xbox would gain by bringing exclusivity back, right? So I just find it interesting that when I saw that poll, and I don't necessarily think it was like a it's more of like a console war mentality excitement thing for people. Let's bring back the old days, you know, like, we got our exclusives, you got your exclusives, we can console war, we can do this and that. But like, I'm thinking about me, and that would suck, you know. And I also think we'd be in more situation to where, well, if you have less gamers accessing the games, and a lot of these games might, like, I'm gonna say hi to Fuzzy first before I get too deep into this. What's up, Fuzz? How's it going, man?
Up to be here. Sorry about being late,
Oh, you're
but
good. I was late too,
yeah,
man.
there's a there's a lot of news out there for the whole Xbox and
Mm-hmm.
some of the changes that might be coming. So yeah, can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, man. Um, for sure. We're gonna talk a lot about GDC stuff, but going back to my train of thought here, when they had mentioned, like, this rumor or came out, leak or whatever, from Schreier about PlayStation no longer putting their single player games on PC, right? A lot of people were celebrating that, and for me, I'm like, why? You know, these people aren't losing anything. You know, they still get to play the games on PlayStation. Um, it I think in the long run it would be a win for PlayStation to keep doing that. Even if they aren't necessarily selling like gangbusters out the gate now because they're releasing them 2 years after the fucking game comes out, they're still generating new fans of games. Kind of like the Square Enix argument where they were only shipping on PlayStation for a long time, and it's like, you're not cultivating new fans of Final Fantasy. You know, you're not cultivating new fans. You know, so it has a long term effect, and they actually realize that. And PlayStation taking away PC kind of has a similar effect. I mean, you're not convincing people to have to go buy play. A lot of these PC gamers like aren't just going to go buy a PlayStation just because of that, and you're potentially losing out on sales. But also you're losing out on potential fans of these franchises. But the worst thing for me is actually if you're a PlayStation customer and they're limiting the amount of options and avenues for them to sell games, then you're basically locking them into more of a system of control to have more control over the pricing. And the PC market, when they had to make those decisions on, okay, we're bringing this game to PC, it was like, okay, well, we got to make sure it can sell because PC gamers have an expectation there. And if you're selling a 2-year old game there, a lot of them came out at like $50 and stuff like that at times, you know? And I see PlayStation, if they don't do that and they just stick to these single player tentpole type games only on the console, the prices will remain high for the long term, kind of like Nintendo does, but also potentially they may go up even more. Because as Shuhei Yoshida had said, that unless people are buying these games in as many ways as possible and the remasters and remakes and all that kind of stuff, then that's what we would expect as price increases, right? Because they got to get more money out of us one way or another. So either you reach more people because they have to have growth, or they find ways to milk their IP with shitty things like Sons of Sparta and overcharge for really cheaply made things and taking advantage of the IP, or they raise the price on those games as well. And I think not putting your games in other places raises the potential to actually harm the actual PlayStation customer long term with some of those things. But that's just me as somebody that's looking out for our end and not caring how well PlayStation does. PlayStation wants to sell more consoles because of it, then that's up to them. If people want PlayStation to be the cool brand and that's what they care about for warring mentality and all that kind of stuff because it's exciting, that's cool too. For me, I'm looking at long term effects of that, and I don't see it as a net positive for any of us, honestly. But and that's why I don't necessarily celebrate or care one way or another with Xbox takes away games from other platforms if they do that. I look at it as like, okay, well, it's exciting, it's fun, it's cool. It doesn't do anything for me, and what's the long-term effects of that? We don't know, right? Do they sell more consoles than they did this generation? I don't know. I don't see it, but it's possible. But I do think they have something that's compelling for those of us that are Xbox fans in the works, and that's what's exciting for me, right? As opposed to having to have exclusives or not. It's about what's the device going to be like, what games will it have access to, and what features and services will it have, right? And that's the exciting stuff for me, man. So, but thank you all for joining. Fuzzy, what's up, dude? Like, hey, you been following GDC?
Not as closely as I probably should, but I've just been every now and then checking to see what the debate is as far as if it's still a PC or a console, and kind of laughing to
Yeah.
myself about some of these takes.
Yeah.
Um, I look at it as a console with a little extra to it, so it is what it is. If people want to continue, no, 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 it's a PC. Okay, it's I guess a PC that will play console games as far as you're concerned, but it's still going to be a console. It's not going to
Yeah.
have swappable parts. It's not going to have, um, all the access that you have with a PC to some extent. It looks like it's basically going to be a console that'll have a mode to be like a PC. And from what I've also saw on GDC, it looks like PCs will have a Xbox mode to be kind of maybe like a console. We'll see how far that goes, but I think that's more so just to have the PC games lined up as accessible or feel more console like as far as the UI, kind of like the Xbox Ally was and stuff. So, but yeah, it's weird seeing like the I guess the thought process behind PlayStation pulling its PC games. saw one of the, I guess, former Blue Point employees, with that studio being closed.
Yeah, he's the
One of
Steam
the employees,
machine. Yeah, is what he's saying.
yeah, he's looking at it. Maybe the Steam machine is their more feared competition now. Putting the games on there, it's like, well, why would you need a PlayStation if the games are going to be on Steam? Plus, Steam having access to games that you can't normally get on console, kind of thing, or have to wait years later before it's ported over to console. So we'll see what PlayStation does. I think in the grand scheme of things, even though people were like, "Oh, well, it didn't sell all that well as far as their PC endeavors." Well, that's what happens when a game is a couple of years old. Although on the flip side of things, some of the older Xbox games going to PlayStation did well, like Forza Horizon. But that's a genre that is malnourished on the PlayStation. Like if you look at Need for Speed, it hasn't been filling that spot. So something like Forza coming over there definitely would do well, considering they haven't had anything like Arcade Racer since Drive Club, and they closed that down shortly after the game came out. So, but as far as like with uh, how they're speaking about this console, the roadmap that they have as far as getting the dev kits to developers and things along those lines, it feels like there's more energy and enthusiasm behind the Xbox brand over within the Microsoft wall. So it's pretty exciting right now. But yeah, I don't know. I think some of the hate for Project Helix or whatever that I've seen on social media
Hmm.
is just
The only thing
hate
people
for the
keep
sake
saying
of
is
hate.
it's a PC. It's a PC. Like it's some kind of like slap in the face to console gamers. Like it's a PC. You're not playing a console. They're not giving you a console. They're giving you who the fuck cares? It'll play my console games and it'll play PC games. Like, what do we fuck? As long as the experience of using it is good, it doesn't matter to people like exactly like what the underlying like what is it license. I mean like I don't understand like it's a fucking Xbox, okay?
Yeah.
Like this is something that we've never seen before in gaming. The Steam machine is a Linux based PC, right? That's meant to
Mhm.
be more user friendly like a console, right? But the difference there is it doesn't fucking play console games.
Right.
The Xbox Project Helix will play console games. It'll play our Xbox Series X and S games. It'll play our Xbox One games. It'll play our Xbox 360 games, and it'll play original Xbox games. And they're the only platform that is actually giving us that much backwards compatibility in the fucking first place. On top of that, it'll also play PC games. Who
Yeah.
cares what the if what a Project Helix game is made? It's just made to work across everything. And if that means
Mhm.
it's a PC, who the fuck fucking cares? Like if people are using that out there as some kind of like, hey, it's just a fucking PC, man. Well, when they boot it up, it'll look like a fucking Xbox, right? It'll
Yeah.
play like an Xbox. All these consoles now are also built on fucking PC, like are built on Windows. And guess what?
Cool.
They're just locked to not actually access the capabilities of Windows. The difference here is they're kind of opening that up and having some different architecture in there and stuff to be able to play and access these other things, much like they do on the ROG Xbox Ally. But I'll say as well is Jason Ronald made one very interesting comment when he was talking about the vision of like going forward and all this stuff. Like the ROG Xbox Ally is he called it an early look at kind of what they're doing in that sense. So they have a lot in store for not only changes to that device, but this whole system in general with what they're doing in the future. And I don't care if people say it's a PC. I don't care if people say it's a console. It's a fucking Xbox.
Yeah.
It's an
It'll be one of
Xbox.
the it'll be one of the few devices that can play Grand Theft Auto 6 and World of Warcraft or Escape from Tarkov.
It'll be the only device.
pretty much.
Right. Is
So
there another one that will be able to play both? I don't think there is.
not until they Take Two decides to port it over to PC.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's the biggest deciding factor. It's a console plus.
And you can
If you
say
want to
that
call it a
about,
PC that plays console games, it's a unique
yeah.
case because it's one of the few that can.
And
So
you can mention that like GTA 6, but that's the same case for so many games where it's like it's the only place you can play that game and this other game because we're getting access to these libraries that have ton of exclusives within them already. Like you know how many games are only on Steam?
well,
You
they
know,
come up with was
there's
it 18,000 games a year, and I think that's like double the amount that they release on console. Now, sure, some of them are probably your flash in the pan, asset flip type games, but you still have some of those in the console stores too. But yeah, there's so many games that are PC only.
yeah.
And the fact that, Xbox has been supporting keyboard and mouse as well, you can probably switch between the two. So we'll see how this all goes. But I'm predicting this box will probably be sold without a controller, just to kind of keep prices within reason.
Without a
Bring
disk
your own
drive too.
controller. Yeah, that's going to be something that'll be like an add-on accessory.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait to see the digital foundry comparisons of the PS5 Pro versus the Helix on Grand Theft Auto 6. One gets 120 frames, the other one is struggling with 30 frames. So we'll see.
Yeah. Truestrom says, how many AAA games just on Steam? I mean, that I didn't say AAA games. But does that even like matter? Like, you know how many great like games there are, like that aren't AAA published, like big publisher games? I mean, there are just so many fucking
Well,
good games.
think about this: Star Citizen, that AAA when they
It's
finally released their single player.
yeah, it's a
I
good
would say
thought.
that's like a quintuple A because of the amount of money
Well,
that's been poured into
and
that
you
game.
mentioned also it's more than just Steam too. It's like okay, you have like Battle.net, right? Where you have like
Yeah.
the past StarCrafts, you have, World of Warcraft as well, so there's tons of stuff out there like that that is like you could as well. I mean, what's the they ended up putting some of these on console because they ended up putting Valorant on console, right?
Yeah.
But like before that, for a long time, games like there's so many games like that too, that are just like geared towards PC or launch first on PC for years. League of Legends,
Yeah.
you know, like League of Legends stuff like that is on. You'd be able to access that, right? Um, and I would say Steam also, with Steam Machine, you don't get access to Battle.net either, unless
Yeah.
you do some other shit. You
You got
can you can
sideload.
yeah, you can make that stuff work, but it's not like there, and it's not just easy. Hey, link your account. Set up your account here. Like this is going to be a device that is super unique. We've never seen something that is geared towards console players, but also has the capability of the openness of PC, right? To where it's console games from our entire library of Xbox, but you also, hey, play Steam, EA games, EA store, you got the Ubisoft store, you got Epic, Battle.net, GOG. You talk about game preservation, right? You talk about games that have been delisted. GOG goes and gets some of these titles and restores them and puts them up. Something like I bought on GOG recently was Alpha Protocol
Mm.
because Sega had removed it from Steam, because of like some kind of licensing thing or something like that, right? Well, GOG got it, and it plays great on GOG. Like things like that, man. Um, Now if you put all this together and think about, hey, next gen Xbox games, all the library of Xbox games, plus, knowing that the new games that come out, this is a big thing they talked about at GDC, Fuzzy, is just it's going to be built to where when they build a game, it's just going to work like across all the devices. Like, so the developers aren't going to have to make multiple versions, right? So they're going to be able to like make using the dev kit, right? They have a dev kit, everybody. It's not just a PC. They have an actual dev kit for this thing. Well, you know what other devices have dev kits, Fuzzy? Consoles.
Yeah.
Consoles. Anyway, they actually have a dev kit for this thing that's going to be going out in 2027. Spring, supposedly 2027. And with that, they're going to be able to supposedly just build the one version of the game, and it's going to work for PC. It's going to work on the Project Helix. It's going to work, the cloud, all that other kind of stuff as well. So, yeah, for me, I'm excited. Like, it kind of confirmed a lot of the stuff that we were hoping, and answered some of the questions kind of on how it was going to work, right? We still haven't seen, like, we'll need to see the interface. We'll need to see the functionality. We'll need to see like what's the ease of use for console gamers. We'll need to see the price. We'll need to know what it looks like. All these things, the obvious things that we still want to know, but we know the direction, right? We know the direction. We know the core base of the capabilities, and they check the boxes for me on what I could hope for with that. Not only that, Fuzzy, we also got an announcement that they're rekindling the backwards compatibility program, which was a rumor that had been going around for a while. And soon we're getting a amount of games to play in some kind of new way we've never played before. So my thinking, I don't know if you had the same thought or if you've seen this, but they had like a graphic with it. They had like Fusion Frenzy and some other things on the graphic. I think these things might be playable on PC and in the ROG Xbox Ally. And I think it's going to be kind of them implementing the whole backward compatibility idea of starting with these to give access to the library, the past library of games that many of these weren't digital before. They were just disc. So I think what they're doing is they're bringing former disc-only games into the digital library, and maybe they'll hit Game Pass as well. But we'll actually be able to access and play these games through the digital, like through purchasing them or accessing them with Game Pass or something on maybe console, PC, or whatever. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you were thinking that. Maybe they were just talking about the cloud. I don't know.
I was thinking it would be a combination of things. A lot of like what you're saying as far as playing the console games on PC. I think I've hinted at this before. It's like I think once you know Project Helix, whatever they decide to call it, when it's actually fully released, maybe even beforehand. But I think they'll be held a little bit until after that console's out. At Xbox Ally and Ally X will become even more valuable to people because they'll have a way to be able to access at least their digital library of console games. Um, so if they don't already have like a dual entitlement or like a Play Anywhere version of that for PC, they'll be able to play it in console mode and do it almost like an emulation. And I think the PC will be able to do the same thing. The Xbox mode is like the first phase, getting those console mode games for any of the publishers that don't want to do the dual entitlement or the Play Anywhere initiative. Those will be the ones where you'll see them quote unquote emulated on those devices. So I could see that happening. I also see don't know how much of this might well, this won't be part of it, but our series consoles will get possibly the access to some of the PC stuff via cloud. So if you're already subscribed to Game Pass or whatever that may morph into as far as the cloud access, if you already have access digitally for some Epic games or Steam games, you'll be able to possibly do that as well. Kind of like how you can take a Xbox One and play series console games via the cloud now. I think there'll be something similar in place. But yeah, I think there's also going to be that AI or NPU aspect of things where that will help, you know, push things to 60 frames, but yet still keep the game's timing and all that still, in sync. Um, so I think we'll see pretty much any game that wasn't 60 frames before 60 frames, and all of those that were just barely getting to 60 frames can probably be pushed to 120. I think they'll continue doing things like HDR improvements, but I also think there'll be almost like a DLSS approach. I don't know if they're going to call it like FSR something or whatever, but I think there will be a rendering for like low LLD or to prevent pop in and things like that. So I think on the AI end of things, we'll see on those older games have a better draw distance or have better visuals because of the rendering of the MPU to help that with the visuals. But yeah, the back compat and forward compat stuff. Yeah, I'm so glad they're reopening that, because there was quite a few titles that people were still wishing for when they kind of let us know that they were moving on from that. I think they were basically moving on from that to work on the new hardware and then figuring out how they can take everything that they've worked on so far, move it forward to that, and then what does it look like once they have the hardware pinned down as far as the specs and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. See what
Yeah.
else they tell us, or probably what they'll wind up showing us between now and June or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are geeking out over the spec stuff, right? And like, I think a lot of it that they told us right now is kind of just like generic terms, for like next gen technology. You know what I mean? And it's like we don't necessarily have a. It hasn't really been marketed too much by AMD or anything yet, but it's like stuff that they're going to like announce in the future at some other kind of AMD like graphics card reveal event and talk about these next level things and stuff. But I know, and I don't understand what the hell most of this stuff means. Um, so, but I'm gonna go down the list, chat, and because they had a slide they had posted that Jason Ronald had up there during when he was talking at the keynote over some of the things that the Project Helix will have, as far as kind of like innovative, pushing forward technology with gaming type features stuff, right? So it says Project Helix Innovation plays your Xbox console and PC games powered by custom AMD SoC, which is Magnus, right? I'm assuming. Is that correct, Fuzzy? The system on chip is Magnus.
Yeah, the SoC system on chip.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay. Uh, co-designed for next generation of DirectX. So DirectX, that's the Microsoft thing that they've been developing for forever. This is the next advanced. What number DirectX are we on now? Is it?
I think 12, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
So whatever the next DirectX will be, they'll announce some new things with that. Next gen ray tracing performance capabilities. Cool. I think this generation, except for some more recently released games, ray tracing for the most part is kind of a non-factor with console games for the most part. There, you can tell it exists. It's there. It makes somewhat of a difference, but usually at a huge trade-off of performance when it's there, and even so, it pales in comparison to the ray tracing you see like on high-end graphics cards and PC space. So I think next gen with consoles and Project Helix, what you're going to see is them catch up to the high-end PC market as far as where ray tracing is at, and we'll actually start to see what was promoted heavily this generation um, actually be something that fucking matters next gen, and is actually we see it utilized, and it's just kind of a standard for the most part. I think GPU directed work graph execution, whatever the fuck that means. I have no idea. I'm sure some of y'all know what that means. Fuzzy probably knows what that means. I have no idea what GPU directed work graph execution means, but I'm sure the developers at GDC were like, cool, it has that. That's awesome. Yay. AMD FSR Next plus Project Helix. So FSR, I am familiar with FSR because of my games on PC when I'm utilizing switching in between the different FSR modes all the time, seeing what's the best thing for my game that I'm currently playing. Also on console, some games you can turn it on or off as well. Most games use it by default now. I'm finding, like in the Xbox games and stuff on console, and it helps performance with making the games be able to still be at a higher resolution. It comes with some detriments, but each evolution of FSR, those detriments are less and less, and they become more natural. So I'm sure by the time that this thing is out, FSR will be even better, which is improved. I mean, we're on FSR 4 now, I think, Fuzz. If it's
For
improved,
PC, yeah.
yeah, it's improved. Yeah, for PC, it's improved dramatically. Just since I've played it on PC and stuff over the last couple years. Um, so built for next generation of neural rendering. We're gonna render with our minds, everybody. It's neural rendering. We're gonna render with our minds. I don't know what neural rendering is. I'm sure some of you guys do, but they'll have the next generation of it.
It's basically the MPU machine learning. Basically, what it's going to help do is kind of be like more like a DLSS,
Right.
like beyond what FSR is doing now, kind of thing. They'll be able to know that those gray things off in the distance are rocks, and those green things in the distance are trees, and try and render them a bit better for you without it having pop in and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Um, Sour Blow says, I believe that the most important part that not much people are talking about is that devs only have to develop games once for all the Xbox platform. Yeah, I mentioned that a little while ago. I think that's interesting. Like, we'll see if there's like a trade off with that. That's the interest. That's for me is also an interesting thing. Is like because like the Project Helix is like has like a target. Like it is like a certain level, of device that they will be optimizing for. Like, and they're building the game targeted towards that. What does that mean for the gamers that don't have Project Helix that are accessing the game on PC? Like in the Xbox store, will it be that version that's just optimized for Project Helix? Will they be able to take advantage of other things as well? Like, it's gonna be interesting to see some of that stuff. And because one thing that's happened, like sometimes when a game hits the PC store on Xbox, it's lacking some of the same features that it would have on Steam. Right, that's happened a few times. And they usually get updated later, to where it's like, but I don't know if it's because of like the build is different or whatever. Play Anywhere, it's working on console to PC. It's happened a few times. So we'll see if that is something that is like because it is kind of like a standard build like thing that was working across all these different things. If there's any trade offs there, or if like, hey, no matter what you have, it's going to take full advantage of it. You know what I mean? So I am curious about that, with how that's going to work. But I would think, obviously, they're smart and they would hopefully know that PC gamers would not tolerate that whatsoever. Um, so I'm sure that's not a thing, but I am a little bit curious about it. Also, next generation ML upscaling, Fuzzy. Next generation ML
And
upscaling. So this is like
you'll be able to
uh
take a 1080p image and have better results up resing it to 1440 or
isn't that
2160.
isn't that like FSR? Isn't that the same thing?
Kind of, but I think they're trying to. The rumor was, or at least from what I heard, when Windows 12 was a little bit more of a push, they were going to try to have that built into Windows 12. It was under a code name kind of like FSR, but it's going to be machine learning upscaling. So that way, pretty much every game that you'll play on PC in the future, especially once Windows 12 is released, they'll have all of that, DLSR, DSLR kind of, or DSL, even think DSL, like stuff
DLSS?
in it as far as DLSS, yes.
Okay,
That
got it. Yeah.
that lines up.
I think of DSL, I think of something else.
No, no, we're not. No, no. I'm thinking cameras and not the other thing right
I wasn't
now.
thinking about cameras either.
No, but
Um,
yeah, Windows 12 was supposed to have all of that kind of built in, along with like quick resume and stuff like that. But they're going to wind up having a lot of these things pretty much. Well, quick resume was be assumed already going to be like a standard feature moving forward when it comes to Xbox devices and stuff like that. So, but yeah, they're really going to make it so a game that would have only had an output of 1080 looks, buttery smooth and sharp on your 4K TV or even your 8K monitor or whatever you may have, kind of thing. But yeah, they're definitely making sure from a visual standpoint, this will be a more noticeable jump in crispness and a lot of the bells and whistles as far as like, not just ray tracing, but also like what is it called? Path tracing. So you can have
yeah.
like some of the shadows, cast shadows on other shadows and whatnot, or have it look more natural as far as the way the light and shadows falls in corners or you know on opposite sides of the room and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Sweet. Um, we also have um, new ML multi-frame generation. So I also do know what frame generation is because it like just produces extra frames. But they recommend you have, I think, above 100 or above 60 frames before you use frame gen. I think on PCs is what they recommend. So yeah, there's frame gen. That'll have new ML multi frame gen. Everybody, we can all get excited for the new multi ML frame gen. Um, they will also have next gen ray generation for ray tracing and path tracing, like you said, Fuzzy. Absolutely awesome. Next gen ray generation. I haven't heard ray generation before for ray tracing and path tracing. I guess they're just saying how the rays are generated. So we'll have rays being generated in a next gen way for the ray tracing and the
Hoping that
path trace.
I'm hoping that makes for improvements of mirror reflections in stationary mirrors in like
Right.
bathrooms and stuff like that.
Then we have now this one sounds sexy, everybody. We have deep texture compression. Everybody should get excited about this deep texture compression. To achieve the deep texture compression, they're using oil. No, they're using neural. So what it is neural texture compression. So we'll be able to
Mhm.
compress those textures with our minds. Um, Again, an NPU thing, Fuzz. NPU. And I think texture compression is like making the assets like smaller to be able to like
Yeah.
not be as demanding. It's the easiest way I'll think of it. Um,
Yeah.
and then hey guys, we got this next one's fun. It comes with deep texture compression. You're getting direct storage that comes with an STD. So everybody, just to you can't have deep texture compression without direct storage with STD. Now it's a ZSTD. I've never heard of ZSTD before, but um, we can all look forward to having
Maybe it's a compressed
ZSTDs.
STD.
Yeah, we'll all have ZSTDs with direct storage. Everybody. So, yeah, I don't.
Right.
What is Z? Anybody know what ZSTD is?
Wait, is it Z or C? Z is in
Z
zebra or
Z
C is in?
Z is in Zoinks. I have an STD. Um, everybody, we got that deep texture compression. We're here enjoying our parasocial relationship. We're gonna give deep texture compressions, and we might get a ZSTD out of it, but that's okay because a ZSTD comes with direct storage, baby. That's right. Anybody out there know what ZSTD is?
I can't think of it. I right now with this deep texture compression, I'm thinking like massage parlors. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, hey, that's the Project Helix innovation right now. Yeah, that's what an STD is. Yeah, but what is a ZSTD? One for fucking zombies? Oh God! Everybody, do not play State of Decay 3. Do not play State of Decay 3. Even if it has deep texture compression, don't play State of Decay 3. You might get a ZSTD.
oh man.
No, I'm not talking about a zombie game. I mean I am now. Um, Z because it's the last one you ever get. Sinistral J says, yeah, the last STD you'll ever get. That means you're gonna. That means it's deadly. That's how they say in Europe. I got ZSTD in my Wii is. I thought you said Wi-Fi at first, but yeah, okay. Xbox 4949 says Asha has not mentioned Game Pass once in any tweet or interview. I really hope the console wars have not gotten her head and convinced her to do exclusives. And the math only works on that without Game Pass yet. It's been an interesting thing. I've noticed also. Now, granted, I don't necessarily think GDC is the place you talk about Game Pass, but
Yeah.
also when they are talking about, you know, all the stuff with development, it would be interesting. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they mentioned Game Pass once among Jason Ronalds and they're just talking about the history of Xbox and doing all the things, games delivery, all this other kind of stuff. But I didn't notice that they didn't mention Game Pass. I noticed before that like none of them have really talked about Game Pass recently, um, which is interesting. Although we're feasting on fucking Game Pass right now, So yeah, I think it's like it exists. They're doing it, but it's almost like they're stepping away from it from being their identity a little bit, and I don't know what that means for the future of it or not. I don't see Game Pass going away. I see Game Pass continue to being adjusted and evolving and changing for sure. Does that mean eventually we lose day-to-day games across the board? I don't know. I think maybe it's a possibility. I don't want that to happen. But I I hate when I see people advocating for it. Like it's just an option. Let people want to use that option, have it instead of like advocating for them to get rid of it. Like for the sake of something else. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it'd be interesting to see like if they start talking about it more again, or if they start coming out with the messaging and marketing around it. Um, but part of all of this is like messaging, right? And I will say so far, it's very early, right? It's very early. The messaging has been pretty like clear and less fuzzy, or like less it's been more direct and informational, and just less like we feel the need to tell people things all the time, you know.
Yeah.
um and I think that they're doing a better job of messaging right now, and I think that needs to continue. I have definite thoughts about um messaging and what they should do, like do's and don'ts for communicating with Xbox gamers and marketing. Did you see they got rid of this is an Xbox fuzz officially?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
They're
found.
pretty much scrubbing the internet
Yeah,
of it right now.
still on YouTube. It's not on their website
Yeah.
anymore. You can't find it on their website. It lands you to a page with Sarah Bond's face on it that says resigned. Um, no, it doesn't do that, but it says if not found on the website. But yeah, this is an Xbox campaign. I didn't really give a shit, you know. Like I thought it was whatever. People hated it. If you hated it, that's fine too. I think people take marketing sometimes like really literal, and like get their feelings influence one way or another. Like, what do you mean this is an Xbox? I have an Xbox and it doesn't look like that. Does that mean that I don't need this anymore? You're telling me I don't need this anymore? This thing I'm playing my game on today that you're releasing new games on next month and the next month and the next month that I have Game Pass on? You telling me I don't need that anymore? But I'm using it. How could you offend me in that way? Does anybody actually say that ad and actually fucking feel that way, or is it people just like, hey, this is stupid? You know, people were way overly offended by it. However, it wasn't the best campaign, obviously, because it did rub a lot of people the wrong way. And they are moving on from that, even if the direction is the same.
Yeah.
You know, like the direction, they're not doing anything different, Fuzzy. They're still
I can still play Xbox on my Meta
right.
Quest. I can still play Xbox on my phone. Yeah.
And that was the same thing as before that this is an Xbox campaign came out. Like you could still do those things. They were still doing all those things. So it's all about messaging, right? It's all about
Yeah.
marketing. Um, and they have not been good at that for this entire last generation, right? Communicating to the fans. And that's one of the things I think is going to be important going into Project Helix, right? Because it is so different. There's like an educational thing a little bit there about, but everybody's telling me it's a PC because they have all these people on Twitter. It's just a PC. Like everybody just telling me it's a PC. So they gotta communicate the messaging clear on the capabilities, right? And starting with console, I think is gonna be important. So it'll play all your Xbox games. It'll play all your Xbox games natively, you know. And it'll play PC games too. It'll play, you know, they have to make the PC come across the PC functionality as a bonus, as an
Yeah.
additive, right? As a core feature, but not what the core focus is. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like, and that's going to be something they're going to have to come across with the messaging and stuff on that. So, how do they do that? I don't know. Say the word fucking console all the time. You know, every time, even if Keeley has a stroke, trying to say it, you make him say console, right? If you have an Xbox announcement at the Keeley show, you make Keeley say console. right? You make him say console. He won't want to say it. He may like go into convulsions or something trying to say because he wants to call it a PC. But you make his ass say console. You anybody that talks about it, you make him say console, right? You it rated to Xbox fans about playing console games constantly, you know. Um, but it's gonna be interesting to see. I think part of it though, Fuzz, that is something they need to get to, and I don't know if you agree with this, but instead of talking as much about the messaging, and they did this at GDC because it's targeted towards the devs, right? But like at um, gamer focused events or other things, or like Xbox Wire posts and all that other stuff, stop talking about the whole giving games to everyone, meeting players where players are, the whole when everyone plays we all win, like I understand the message, and for me it's like a good message in general because I agree with a lot of that sentiment. However, it's not going to do them any favors as far as getting people excited for their games. Like when we all play we all win, hey, we're meeting players where they're at. People just want to get excited for the fucking game to play on the device they have, right? So like, they don't need to keep saying all that shit all the time. They don't need to keep saying that whole message and the kumbaya stuff all the time. Just say, hey, we have fucking Halo and you can play it on your Xbox. And look, Halo's fucking awesome, and then show Halo. You know what I mean? And then later, at some point, our games are available on these other devices as well. They're an extension of the Xbox. You know what I mean? Like, because I think you have to put the focus on the core to be able to make people want that experience first, to get them excited to have that experience in the other places as well. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's the core difference of the direction they're probably trying to go in now, as opposed to what they were doing with Phil and Sarah. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Yeah. I think it comes down to how they show how this ecosystem works. I think I've always wondered why they never really showed an effective way of it starts with the console, you're playing the game, wife comes up to you, hey, the kids want to watch Bluey or whatever. Okay. Put the controller down, you turn it over to, one of the movie apps for the kids, let them watch Bluey, you continue playing your game on your Xbox Ally. And it's like, either your wife hops on the computer and joins that same game so you can continue playing there. Oh, it's time for the kids to go to bed. Oh, back to couch co-op or something along those lines. Like make it so it flows like what you would see in a given household of having those multiple devices of where they're important. Or if it's the guy that gets up a little early, starts a game before he goes to work, continues it on public transportation or whatever with his Xbox Ally or his lunch break, comes back home, continues it on the console. Like I think that's the messaging that they should have focused on when they were doing the this is an Xbox. Still show the centerpiece being the console, but how all of these other devices support that. And you may already have them. So it's not like you have to go out and buy these other parts, but you definitely want to have that console as your main go-to between you and the TV. And then use these as like extensions to kind of take away from the TikTok, viewing or the doom scrolling on Twitter or whatever the case may be. They had showed something along those lines. I think it would have probably landed a little bit better, but this part going forward, they've mentioned console more in the past, I would say 2 weeks, than probably we've seen, from Xbox marketing over the past 10 years to some extent. So I think they know that there are some keywords that people listen to or strike up a certain emotion about. But they could still show the other stuff. Just make sure it's like you said, it's a bonus. It's an added feature, but the core, the center focus always show people playing, or at least end the commercial with them playing on the console, or start the commercial with them playing on the console, and show the in between stuff, but make the main focus the console, or show it where the main person that they focus on is playing on the console. They're on the headset with their buddy that's on a PC, or something along those lines, or somebody that's on one of the handhelds, or they're on the console and one of the kids is on the handheld. That I think that would have probably landed a bit better as well. But yeah, I think they got the subtle hint that the console has to be the focal point, almost like what they had to learn in 2013 when they were talking about TV. I hate bringing that up because I didn't see a problem with it,
Yeah,
even with
and
me
that
being a
was
PlayStation person.
an
back
added
then.
feature, right? But like they
Mhm.
focused and talked about it so much that it was rubbing people the wrong way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like they didn't at that time, at that event, they didn't focus on as much as just what the gamers that are on Xbox, that is the people watching, and listening to the messaging, actually care about. And I think you got to start there, and then you do your other announcements and stuff like on top of that for but like you got to the ratio of amount of talk that they've had over the years about all that other stuff has been so heavy, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, we're trying to reach 3 billion people. We're trying to do this, we're trying to do that, and I agree with the vision, you know, like, but the messaging is taking away from, and the console players and the core Xbox fans, I think, have had a lot of them have felt that we're looking to attract everybody else but them, and at that point, if you dilute that to where the messaging is so much geared to everybody else but to who your actual fans are, then if you start losing the trust or the excitement or the willingness from the fans to be like, yeah, this is the place to play. This is the cool shit. You know what I mean? This is like, then it's like, why would anybody else want to get that experience if the people that are actually been there are feeling like you're not giving them what they want, whether the feeling is justified or not. I feel like the messaging has to be clear, you know. And so far, Asha Sharma has done a good job with the simple few times, just giving simple, clear, not over expanding upon things kind of stuff for the sake of, like, the better good of gaming, or the better good of everybody. You got to focus on the core first, right? And still do all that other shit. That's what PlayStation does. They talk to their core, they sell them the core, and they tell them they're not doing shit, or they only act like they're not doing shit, and then they just do it anyway. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And nobody even pays attention to it. The other thing is Xbox
Kind
has
of,
got to stop letting people that work within the organization leak shit, because you can't control your messaging and marketing if the information gets out to the public and the games media, and content creators first. You lose all control of being able to deliver news in a way that's for the betterment of the brand, right? So once it gets out into the wild, you got to plug the fucking leaks, man. Xbox is the worst at this. Everybody finds out everything before they fucking announce it. And you can't say the same with PlayStation. You can't say the same thing with Nintendo. Like, I don't know what they got to do, but like they gotta find the leakers that are within the Xbox organization and shut them the fuck up. That would be maybe number one, like, thing I would do if I was Asha Sharma,
mhm.
like Dan Jobs. Like, whoever the fuck is leaking all this stuff all the damn time, you're hurting all of us. And you need to fucking quit, or we're gonna find you and we're gonna sue your ass.
Start
Like
enforcing
seriously,
those NDAs.
yeah, 100%. Like you can't like it's whatever the motivation is. Like even if the somebody feels like they're doing something good, right? We don't want to allow this to happen because I feel this way. They're not listening to me. I'm gonna leak information to Schreier or whoever, right? You put that information out there, or starts getting around to content creators or whatever. These leakers like Nate the Hate or Shinobi or whoever, right? It starts getting out there. Then all of a sudden you have a million YouTube videos show up. You have a million tweets show up, and nobody actually has a clear answer. But you just create this news before there's any news, and you lose all control. You lose all control. They got to fix that. Um, It'll be interesting to see if they can figure that out because that's been a problem with Xbox for a long time.
I mean, the best way is to have false story circle as well. And then if you feel it's a particular studio that's doing it, you'll be able to find it based off of the false info that you've selectively given to different parties.
Yeah.
That's one way. The other way is I hate monitoring, and I know most corporations are going to this anyway. Have AI monitor, emails and communications. Like, I mean, if they're using company property, start monitoring it like it's company property. Some of these emails, I'm pretty sure, slide on, company devices. If they're supplied a company phone, they need to do the same. I mean, if it's somebody's personal phone, then start making it so those have to be, locked away before they get to the office space kind of thing. I mean, there's a number of ways, but then does it create a hostile environment or does it take away some of the, you know, jolliness of what these, departments might be experiencing today? I don't know. I guess the other thing is when they have these town halls, how free are the employees to speak and
Yeah.
submit feedback and things
Well,
along those lines? Like,
supposedly, like under Sarah Bond, according to Tom Warren's article that everybody called a hit piece, it was if you don't like what we're doing, you're out, basically,
yeah,
kind of mentality,
my way or the highway.
kind of thing, right? It's like get on board or get out, kind of thing. And I think if that's the true, then that makes sense why you saw a lot of leaks happening around that
Mhm.
time. You had the other people with the marketing division leave around that time, around
Yeah.
before This Is an Xbox came out. So yeah, it's interesting to see if that is the things that took place. Um, but you still gotta you still can't have your employees leaking information. Because if that happens, then you never have the opportunity to actually get in front of something, you know.
Always chasing,
You're
reacting.
always putting out fires, you know. You're always putting
Yeah.
out fires with messaging, and you're never gonna have the right answers. Whereas like you see like PlayStation, Nintendo, it's just like there's not a lot of these leaks that happen. And when they do, it's because of like a hack or something. You know what I mean? But there's not a lot of these leaks that happen, and you have them controlling the messaging. So they're pretty much still lying to everybody a lot of times, but they do what they want, but they're in control of their market, of their brand more so than if you have somebody that's out there just you know talking random shit all the time. So that's something that they need to do. Is it still live? Okay, yeah, we're good. Yeah, and then just control the messaging in a positive way, and that's something I think, and it's also something I like. I feel like they've done well so far as acknowledge that what they were doing was not for the best interest necessarily of the core Xbox enthusiast, and they've already acknowledged that. So I think that's a promising start when you come in and be like things will be different. Um, but I think the main thing is it's gonna be different in the messaging and communication, right? So um, thanks for sharing the Discord poisoned. Let's see. I see some debates going on about
Marathon.
Xbox, yeah, marathon and all this other kind of stuff. Marathon's gonna run out of gas. I see a lot of people that are really liking it, and I've seen a lot of people taking about the player numbers aren't as high as well. So I
I,
don't know how it's gonna
I
do. We'll
got
see.
I got a couple of quick things to say on it because I
Yeah,
know one of the Overwatch devs was like, "That's unemployed behavior." Watching, Steam numbers, and it's like,
yeah.
okay, I get it. It's like, yeah, people should just focus on enjoying the game where they play it, kind of thing. But I think the bigger problem is nobody wants to give the creative or the constructive criticism to the game that probably would save them from the imminent closure that they're going to experience. We're watching in real time the end of Bungie. Um, I thought this game had 6 months, and they might purposely let it lag on for 6 months. I don't know if that mid month or end of month um, stuff will help.
What's their player counts right now? Like I have no idea.
It's still it's getting lower and lower each day, but it's not dramatically low. Like they had a high of 88,000. That was their peak like 7 days ago. Their peak for 24 hours is 60,000, and right now they're at 53. But it bounces between 24 to 60. Well, actually, it stopped reaching 60 during today. Like today, I think is like the first time it hasn't reached 60. Although you got to figure the West Coast possibly um, hopping on. Yeah, so it's like at 56,000 right now. Hopefully it reaches 60 again today, but if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, then it's just doing that slow slide type of deal. And Paul Tassi, the Bungie connoisseur with being a Destiny 1 and 2 stan, was saying he's heard from people inside the inside Bungie stating that the one platform that's supporting this game is Steam. It's not PlayStation. It's not Xbox. Although I would almost bet money that there's probably more Xbox players playing than PlayStation players, but we'll never know for real. But Steam is the dominant or the prominent, I should say, platform. And if these numbers are, of the prominent platform, is this acceptable for Sony? Is this acceptable for Bungie even? I I tend to think it's acceptable until it's not. And I once again give it 6 months or less, but I think we find out something by the end of May and we'll see how many people are still playing. Because I have a gut feeling, even though it's a totally different genre, Crimson Desert comes out, you're probably going to lose 10,000 players or just short of it. I know it's not even remotely close, type of game, but keeping people interested in a game that doesn't have a true end game per se, or the end game is not finalized, and you're doing complete wipes, this isn't good. Like even Escape from Tarkov did better at launch than this is doing. Obviously, Arc Raiders did better than this is doing. It's still doing better than this is doing. But Arc Raiders was like quadruple these numbers at its launch, and it's still like at least three times as high as what you know um, Marathon is doing. So it's like maybe they should have released it, had more feedback from the fans. But I posted a thing on Twitter earlier today. If this had a PVE component, I probably should have said PvE or campaign, but essentially something kind of like with Destiny, where you don't have to worry about losing your stuff. If they had that, would you still would you buy it, or would you still not play it, or are you playing it currently in its current form?
Yeah.
And I haven't checked it lately, but it's still edging at like what 70%. I think that people wouldn't bother, but I think a PvE or a campaign would have made more sense. As your Destiny core should be the ones playing this game, and they should be, you know, enjoying this new lore of this new world kind of thing. And I think that missing PvE component is the problem. But
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know, because I doubt that they'll go back and do something.
I will say I saw the thing where they were asking devs to not review the game until after a certain amount of content came out for it. That
Mhm.
is utter bullshit. In that regard, I if you release a game, you're charging money for it. You know how many times these fucking IGNs and shit will review a game when it's still in fucking preview?
Oh, like Grounded.
Yeah, they've done that numerous times, and they want them to wait until way after release to review it, until they get more shit out after people already bought the fucking game when it's official launch. Okay, that sets a horrible precedent. I
Hmm.
remember they did the same thing with fucking. Well, they didn't. They did it in a different way. I remember when Jedi Survivor came out. They were like, "Hey, please keep in mind all these things are going to be fixed. So all this shit here, just don't knock us for it in the review." And a lot of the reviewers ate that shit up. They like were like, "Hey, yeah, so this has this, and this, but we were sure it's not going to be addressed." However, other games that had the same bugs at launch or similar things at launch, they get knocked for it. You know,
Yeah.
like you can update your score later, right? If you feel like, hey, revisit, re-review, like, hey, marathon 6 months later, checking in. I've seen games get re-reviewed numerous times after content has been going on for a long time. All that kind of stuff. People bought the game to know what was there, and they want to know the feedback on it. You fucking ask them to wait until after the content that you have for the pipeline is coming down the horizon. That's fucking bullshit. It should not happen. And if any of these reviewers actually just say, okay, you're fucking, you're worthless. You're worthless. Um, Review the game that's being sold, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about like a little bit of marathon as well as like I think the biggest comparison is not even necessarily to like okay, Arc Raiders or other things that are being played right now. I wanted to look and see, well, what did Bungie do before on Steam on their hit game? So I was looking at Destiny 2 numbers when it was hopping, right? So I went to look at, okay, well, what is a hit to Bungie game expected to do on Steam? Because if I'm Bungie, that's your precedent, right? That's your precedent.
Hmm.
If you ain't reaching the same levels you've had in the past, you're going downhill. Destiny's 2 all-time peak was 3 years ago for Destiny 2 on Steam. 523,000.
Yep.
Um, Now, this is a brand new release, right? So I don't know if it's going to be successful or not, but I know the numbers are probably not what they hope for right now. And I'm just going to go by months, okay? So the peak in each one of these months, uh, October of 2019 is 292,000. November of 2019, 196,000. December 2019, 138,000. January 2020, 108,000. February 93. March 119. And we're back in 2020, right? 101 the next month, 76, 214. 122, 122, 98, 94, 242 with content, 141, 79, 132, 87, 95, 187, 108, 116, 178, 147, 120. Basically, they were like over 100,000 peak each month. And then when new content came out, they would have jumps in the 200s. When The Witch Queen came out in 2022, 290,000, 229,000 the next month. They dropped down to 88,000 in April. Then the Season of the Haunted, 180,000, 127,000, 103,000. Season of Plunder, 193,000, 149,000, 103,000, right? They kept going like that. But then Lightfall came out, 316,000. Then another 313 the month after that, right? And that went on until getting to 2024. The big updates and all that kind of stuff kind of stopping. You have hovering around 40, 50, 60, 70. Each month. Occasionally you'd have content hit and you have like a peak of over 100. But for the most part, it's just gone down ever since. I think their peak. The last 30 days says 15,000. February is 21,000. January is 29. December though at 71,000. Marathon's a brand new game by Bungie, right? And to not be hitting anywhere close to what Heyday or Destiny is. Yeah, I mean the all-time peak is 88,000. You know, I mean you're talking about.
I was expecting a 200,000 on Steam launch kind of thing because I figured a lot of Destiny players would have at least tried it out. Like
I
you were
thought
saying,
they
it
would.
was
I
what
thought more would.
500,000
Yeah.
was like their all-time high like 3 years ago. I would have figured you should get at least half that, being that it's not a same game, but it's from the same developer. So, and how well, although they've lost some of their goodwill
Mm-hmm.
because of some of the studio heads' doings and some of the artwork controversies and stuff. They've lost some of their high regard. So still, you should have seen like 100,000 to 200,000 at least on the starting weekend.
Yeah.
Um, I don't I don't understand. Like I was expecting a much higher number and figured they would have a 6-month window, but if we get to May and they're averaging like 25 to 35,000 daily, peak 24-hour things, it's I think it's beyond saving. I don't think there's any content that they could have down the pipeline that would help. And the whole reviewer thing, you got one weekend. We're gonna, like, since it's a multiplayer only game, wait until the weekend. After the weekend when reviewers can play against real players as opposed to easy mode other reviewers kind of thing, or playing against the developers and stuff, especially being a PvP game. Um, that's it. You don't get any additional time. Your score is your score. People paid $40. They need to know if that $40 is worth it. If you do something down the road, we'll revisit that whatever number we give it. But the number is based on the game today. And it's
Yeah.
like we've had this argument about how the gaming media is kind of all out of sorts when it comes to reviewing games. It's like sometimes they review games based on what they wanted the game to be. Other times they base it off of you know something that's not even related to the game.
Yeah.
It could be they don't like the developer or they don't like the license holder or something like that, so they'll give it a score without even playing the game. And it's like, well, why are you bothering scoring something if you didn't play it? And I get it, you're upset with whatever XYZ license holder or developer or whatnot, but review the game for the game that's in front of you, not what it could be a year from now, because you can always come back a year from now and say, hey, it's much better than when it launched. But I don't know. It if this was a if Bungie was owned by Xbox, and I know people are going to be like, oh, there's no such thing as Xbox tax. If Bungie was owned by Xbox, you better believe this thing would have been a 60 or below, and they would be like, is this the end of Bungie? Did Xbox kill Bungie? And Yeah, there would be articles day after day about how they were mismanaged. But I don't see any of that. Well,
Yeah.
on an occasion, other than the one or two stories where they let some people go because they were buying cars and inviting girls to check out the cars and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It they're going to fall on their own sword, and it'll be the end of a legacy.
Yeah, I hope they make it, man. I hope like I played Marathon, I played the Server Slam. I haven't played the full release. You know, I didn't buy it yet. I'm waiting to eventually buy it if it still hangs around. Um
A collector's item, just like
yeah.
Concord.
Doing way better than Concord did, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But I know that this is a huge investment for Sony, and maybe like I think I still would see value in Bungie if I was Sony, but I would if this doesn't go and it doesn't pick up or whatever, start making fucking Destiny 3.
At
Like
this point,
can't I don't know, man. Like that the value of Bungie for me right now remains in Destiny.
mhm.
That franchise that they created, are they capable of capturing that magic again with a new game, and starting the whole cycle over again? I don't know, but that's how you're gonna get the most out of Bungie if
Uh,
you can do it.
I got a perfect karma redemption for them. They are now responsible for bringing factions to life. They're going to be the support
Yeah,
team for
there we go.
factions and make that work.
Now that would be awesome. That would be
I,
great.
I think that's a winner. I think that's
Yeah.
your golden goose that Sony's been searching for. It's what was that game called? The day before, but actually be a real
Yeah.
game this time.
Yeah. I mean, factions would be cool. If somebody did it. I mean, make them the support studio for if they do a new Last of Us. Have that ready at launch. That would be crazy. Like
Yeah,
I think like I don't want Bungie to go away because of the history. Like I loved Bungie. Destiny
yeah.
kind of lost me early on. Like I think it was a good game. I just never really it didn't captivate me like Halo, right? Um, but Destiny was a monster, in the industry for a long time. I mean, it was one of those game changing like things. Like it became the big live service thing that lasted a long time with new content, updates, and expansions, and all that kind of stuff. So, like, a marathon was different. They're chasing. For me, marathon was is kind of what's wrong with the industry, where it's like we need to chase what's hot right now instead of them necessarily. Because I think marathon like kept changing genre, didn't it? Like, wasn't it for like a looter or something at one point, or some, and then it was a battle royale, or it was a battle royale, I think. And then became an extraction shooter or some like
Yeah,
whatever's
I
hot,
think it was either like a hero shooter or battle royale first, and then extraction shooter, or it may have started as an extraction shooter, and then they were thinking about changing it to one of the other ones. Like I don't know. Escape from Tarkov is a unique game, and I would say, other than Arc Raiders, although I feel Arc Raiders followed the Division path more than the Escape from Tarkov path. But some of the loss of all your stuff type of thing, but
yeah.
nobody should be copying that game. It is not a game for the mass market. It will never be a game for the mass market until I forget the developer's name, but until he feels he wants that mass market money, do not make a game that copies Tarkov. It'll be the end of your studio. It'll be the worst mistake you could possibly make. It's a hardcore game, very punishing because you lose your stuff, and then even if you don't lose your stuff, let's say you build up a supply, it's wiped every so many weeks, including cosmetics, which is idiotic to me. But
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
after his explanation, I understand why. But Arc Raiders, I think its biggest thing, other than just the game itself, because it me, and I haven't played anywhere near as much as you, but it feels like if you could take the things I like about the Division and make it into a sci-fi, but just the Dark Zone area aspects of it, that's kind of the path where you don't. But the wipe is optional, so you don't have to worry about losing your stuff. But then you might not be as powerful for compared to the others next season or something. But the Division being, I guess, the most tame or mainstream extraction shooter, you just lose the stuff that you found there. You don't lose the stuff you came in with. So there's not as much risk. I mean, there's still some tension, but it's not as punishing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing with, I guess, Arc Raiders. You can have like donated kits, correct?
Yeah, you can have free loadouts. Yeah, I
Um,
mean
so
they're not. I mean,
they're free, but they're barely usable kind of
yeah,
thing.
they're actually like. I mean, if you get the jump on somebody, you can do okay with PvP with the free loadout, depending on what gun you get. But like, where the free loadouts struggle the most is actually against the arcs, in my opinion, because like
Mhm.
the thing about arc raiders is the arcs actually present a challenge where you'll just randomly get swarmed, or you'll have like, oh shit, like a rocketeer is chasing me and I'm in an open area. You're fucked. Like there's always this sense of like danger at any moment in Arc Raiders. Um, that I was missing in Marathon.
Mhm.
Right, I had the moments. I started to get to the moments when I was playing more, where I got into some of those kind of situations, but it wasn't the same as an Arc Raiders where it's like random ass shit that creates these crazy moments that can happen at any time. Um, I think the interaction with people as well is better. I'm not saying more positive, but like is better in Arc Raiders as well, where you have this, it's more dynamic, right? Whereas like when I was playing Marathon, it just seemed like more or less just straight PvP shooter if you see people. Um, Arc Raiders creates a lot of interesting moments, with
Mhm.
people, and the whole, just all of it together, it creates a special thing for me with Arc Raiders. It's like I didn't get it with Marathon. I think Marathon is a fun game. I do. I think like when I was playing it, I like the quest structure for the missions that they have. I like um uh the way they're presented. I like the motivation to go and do those things. I like the when I was playing more, was starting to be more interested in fighting the enemies, who I thought overall mostly were pretty generic. They weren't as diverse as in Arc Raiders, for the enemy types and stuff, but they were still there, and like you could have fun fighting them once you got to a very more challenging level with them. But it was more or less, oh, here's a group of enemies, go fight them, right? As opposed to like, oh, I'm running somewhere randomly. Here's a pop ball that's just going to explode on my face. That came out of nowhere, you know. That does a lot of damage. Oh, I have a tick that grabbed my face. Oh, a pop ball comes out of nowhere, and then a fireball comes out of nowhere and then lights me on fire. I'm dead within 3 seconds, and I thought everything was fine. Random shit like that. Marathon was missing that stuff. However, the shooting mechanics are great. I think it's a fun game. I think they have something there, but is it enough to do what they need to do and to grow, and how much content can they get that's gonna help that? I don't know, man. But we'll have to see. I don't want Bungie to go under, but when the precedent of your company is having way higher concurrent player counts on your game that you're working on, and you're not meeting that with your new game, that's not meeting the expectation that and precedent that you set. I understand it's not Destiny, but if that's all you're going right now, and Destiny ain't hitting right now, right? If that's all that you got going right now, really, then does Sony justify the cost anymore? And I hope the answer to that is yes, or they still see the value to put them on something else, right? Instead of just bye bye. We'll see. Let's get a couple super chats. Razor Ultron with a $2 super chat says, "Why are you checking Steam numbers, Mav? Are you maidenless? Am I maidenless? Is that a like what is made Maydenless? I don't know 100% what that means, but I have my maiden right over here.
It was like something that came up from what was the oh god, I can't even remember it. Elden Ring.
Oh, is it an Elden Ring thing? Okay. I ain't gonna get that reference, bro. I played Elden Ring, but once I got to the castles, it became Demon Souls, and I was out. Relis 5723, the $2, appreciate it, says Bungie has never been PvP focused after Destiny. Well, this is the first thing after Destiny. So, I mean, they had the whole PvP mode going on with Destiny. The arena shooter gameplay modes and stuff you could do. I had some fun with that. But yeah, they have. I mean, you mean after Halo? Because with Destiny they did both, right? It was PVE, or you could do PvP, but it was like a separate modes you would go into. Whereas like Marathon, it's random. You can work with people or you can kill them. What I found was a little bit different than Arc Raiders is like people just saw people that shot people in Marathon. Like, and maybe it's changed now, or maybe it's different. I don't know, since people have been playing more. But a lot less friendlies in Marathon that I had noticed. Cage says, "Remember Bungie deleting paid DLC in Destiny? I remember that. I thought it was fucking ridiculous. You should never get rid of content people
Sunsetting
paid
is a
for."
bad thing.
Yeah, that was a horrible precedent that they set. I remember being like, "What the fuck? That's new. Like, we bought that shit, and I can't play it, but the game still exists. That's weird." Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. Razor Ultron says one of the devs from Overwatch tweeted that out about critics while defending Marathon. Oh, okay. Well, here I don't think. I mean, I think a lot of people are saying that Marathon's a good game. Like, I think a lot of people are saying it's fine or a good game, or that they're enjoying it, that there's something there, or like it's just okay or whatever. But if the numbers aren't there, the numbers aren't there. And I'm not saying that. I don't know what their expectations are. I don't know what they need. So I don't know if they're there for them or not. Much like Highguard. We talked about this when Highguard had like 10, 12,000 concurrent or something like that, Fuzzy. And I was like, maybe that's good for them. I don't know. And then it came out that it wasn't, because they let the staff go. It wasn't good for them. But that was a free to play game. This is a paid for game. It's obviously doing a lot better than Highguard did. But is it what they expect or what they want or what they need? I got no fucking clue. I'll say it's not popping like a lot of multiplayer shooters do when they come out, as far as numbers go. Big time ones that have a lot of marketing behind them and promotion. Like, I mean, a lot of them are hitting over hundreds now, Fuzzy, at launch. You know,
Yeah.
so I would say honestly, my take would be like it is probably well below their expectations for Bungie's
Seemed
next
like,
game.
was it Soul Spire 2 or something Spire 2? Um, it's a much smaller game, like a roguelike card game or a rogue deck builder kind of game. 200,000 right out the gate first day, and I think it stayed at that all the way. It might even still be at 200,000.
Yeah.
Playing that totally different game, but I don't even think they even remotely advertised or marketed it as much as Bungie did.
Well, the
But
indie
then
game.
again, we don't know
Yeah.
how many are. Yeah, no, like then again, we don't know how many are on Xbox and how many are on PlayStation. But like I said earlier, if Paul Tassi is
Yeah.
saying, people from the inside are saying Steam is their best platform right now or their biggest platform, even if you triple those numbers, that doesn't seem like something worthy of Bungie as far as player base kind of thing.
PTK says shout out to the Division Two for breaking its own records lately. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Division Two's had a huge surge.
21,000.
Yeah, which is nowhere near what Marathon has, but like I think Division
It's
Two was
a 7 or 8 year old game.
yeah,
At least 7 year old game.
yeah.
It's doing
And
better than Destiny 2 right now.
I mean that was a like heavy console game. And I don't did it release on Steam like at first, or was it only on like Ubisoft store when it was on PC to begin with?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
think
when it
Steam was like 2 years ago or so,
is
2 or 3 years ago.
is that when they did like the Series X updates and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
or unlocked it. I remember what we if you go back to like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, like we were playing the shit out of Division Two on this channel. Like streaming it, we were like super sucked in for a good like few months. It was right after the Series X consoles had come out, and a lot of games were getting those like free updates, and the Division Two did, and it had a massive resurgence. And we were playing the shit out of it here. Um, but yeah, I don't think Steam ever really had it then. I think it was just like on PC, it was just like on the Ubisoft store, back then, and then on. So it's hard to compare, stuff that's been on PC for so long, right? PTK says 7-year-old game. Yeah, they're making a Division 3 now, right, Fuzz?
Yeah, but I'm kind of torn on that one because the minute they announce it, Ubisoft was having financial troubles to begin with, but they were having even more, and they laid off some people from Massive. And then
Right.
Garrity goes over to, kind of fill the shoes for Sampella, and then that studio and everything associated with Battlefield gets hit. So it's like, does he go
Yeah.
back? Like, is my job still available? Kind of thing. But yeah, I'm hoping Division 3 is everything that we missed from Division 1 mixed with Division 2. Doesn't even have to be a new location. You can send us back to New York. Give us, changing seasons, snow season for 1 week out of the year, summer for 1 week out, or not 1 week out of the year, 1 week out of the month. Almost like the way Forza used to do it for Forza Horizon 4, or what they've been saying for Forza Horizon 5, how it'll be like dynamic seasons weekly, where it rotates kind of thing. Have actual snow, but yeah, I'm hoping they have that and do kind of like the first Ascendant did, where you can join random players in the light zone. Like, so if you see somebody in the city and then they get jumped by the cleaners, you help them out. You can wind up joining that mission and getting the rewards from the mission and stuff. So something like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, man. I hope for the best for that. Like the Clancy brand, all those games, I want them to do great with them. Just
Yeah.
keep them coming. Um, so Crimson Desert also had got some interesting stuff today. With some, I think Digital Foundry had a look at it, and that's one that's. Is it coming out this week, Fuzzy, or
Next week, I
next
think.
week?
It's like
Um,
the 17th or 19th, I think, of this month.
yeah, and that's a game that looks really great. Apparently Digital Foundry got to go ahead and take a look at only the PS5 Pro version of Crimson Desert. They were super impressed with a lot of the game. Um, talking about a lot of it, like ray tracing is really good on it and all this other kind of stuff. They did have some dips to where they were in one area, and on the PS5 Pro, it was dipping to in the high 30s on performance mode, down from 60, which it held mostly stable at 60, but it was having times where it was dipping into the 40s and then even the high 30s at some point. So it seems to be like a demanding game, but they have done like really good with the visuals and a lot of stuff on it overall. So it's weird that they didn't give them the Xbox or the regular PS5 versions of it yet. They did say it's coming soon. So, but yeah, overall, I did watch the video. So, like, if you guys have a chance to, personally, I don't really like Digital Foundry, but if you guys do want
Mhm.
to just see the gameplay footage of kind of like general, what does stuff look like in it and all this kind of stuff, I think it's worth watching just to see the game, right? Is that one you're looking to pick up, Fuzzy?
Oh yeah. I'm debating on if I'm getting it from Steam or from Xbox. More than likely Xbox
Is this one
because of the
Xbox Anywhere? I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
Play
I'll get
Anywhere,
it
yeah.
on Xbox 100%. Yeah, why not?
I'm just trying to look for like discount cards between Neba and a
Yeah,
couple other places. But yeah, this is probably this was the game that I was gonna wind up getting originally instead of uh, what do you call it, Resident Evil, but wound up getting Resident Evil, and then I'm gonna still wind up getting this anyway. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been playing so much Arc Raiders that like when I'm not playing Arc Raiders, if I'm playing something else, it's usually either on my ally, or just like in bed on the TV for just a short burst, you know. So I haven't played Resident Evil yet. Haven't gotten that. I want to get it eventually, obviously, and play it because everything I've seen, everybody talking about Resident Evil Requiem has just been amazing, you know. Um, Graphics look great. We're finally at this point in this generation where it's like we're finally seeing games that like are pushing that next level. You know what I mean? And it was like, wow, and this happens every generation. I remember last generation it happened like in the second half as well, where we started seeing those games, and we're to this point like Resident Evil Requiem's blowing people away. Crimson Desert looks like it's gonna blow people away as well. GTA 6 is gonna come out this year. I think a lot of these Xbox games, including one I'm about to talk about, um, are gonna blow people away as well, and it's cool to see that. Yeah, I've done if Crimson Desert is Xbox Anywhere, definitely getting it on Xbox. And after what I saw in the Digital Foundry, I'm like way more interested in the game. Just because like it's fucking beautiful, man. It is a gorgeous game. So yeah, but I can't fucking stand those guys. But it is what it is.
Yeah, they I don't know. Their bias shows, and as someone that plays GT7 more than all of them combined, when they did their review, and I called out stuff that they were BSing on, and it's like, well, no, nobody is, you know, saying that this a replay is exact as gameplay because I'm like the replays are different uh resolution than what the gameplay is. I mean, you can kind of use it as a simulation, but even when you pause it, you can count the jaggies. You can also see the frame drops on Daytona. I mean, you're racing cars with no paint schemes and you're saying, "Oh, no frame drops." I'm like, "All right, go ahead and race at Daytona, rain or not, it's going to drop frames." Now put paint schemes on the cars and see how bad it looks. And they didn't want to, report on that, but it is what it is. They love their PlayStation and their PCs, but not Xbox. It is what it is.
Yeah. Speaking of the game, I was mentioning was that I was going to talk about is Forza Horizon 6. Because there's been a lot of info coming out about Forza Horizon 6. It's the next big Xbox game on the horizon, coming out in May. And it seems that IGN's been doing a lot of coverage and stuff. There's been a lot
Mhm.
of like interviews, little articles about different details. And this is two big changes that they did with this game, and they've been talking about the world. Is no longer is there regional biomes based on weather, like weather. It's going to be based on elevation,
Mhm.
which is going to be way more natural. I think it's not like you're driving in the desert and all of a sudden magically you're in the fucking tropics, or now magically I'm in the fucking Himalayas. You know what I mean? As far as like the way the scenery
Mhm.
is, it's based on elevation. So you like get to like the mountains, you get to higher elevations, you get to start to see the snow and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. Um, but beyond that, they actually had to split up into two teams to build the actual world with this one, Fuzz, because of how big Tokyo is. So they had one team building Tokyo City, and then the other team building the rest of the open world. For me, that is exciting just in the sense that they needed to do that. You know what I mean? Like we talked
Yeah.
numerous times about how big Tokyo is going to be, and we saw some of IGN and for whatever reason, Forza when they had them playing this game, they did Playground. They decided to turn off the fucking traffic, probably because they know how horrible IGN is playing games. So like the only way we're gonna get to have any usable video and have not this idiot's not crashing all over the damn place and run off the road is if we take away all the obstacles for them. They probably had it on auto brake, auto state. They're probably like fucking driving a Tesla, right? They probably just had it like fucking drive for them, right?
Full self drive.
Yeah,
They still had one close call too
yeah, we
at
had
one of
a
the intersections.
we had a work dinner the other day, and one of the guys I work with has a Cybertruck, and he was talking about like he didn't like he drove from Houston to Dallas, and he didn't like he was just on his phone the whole time. it's like it's like crazy, man. But that's like what I think they did for IGN. You know, just let this coast for you guys. Put it 75% throttle.
Yeah.
Just capture the footage. Um, but within that, you could still see the elements of the city and the highways around the city and stuff. So, how pumped are you for what they're doing with Forza Horizon, Fuzz?
Well, I wasn't as concerned on the traffic thing because I kind of figured
Yeah.
they had it in online mode in comparison, which if there's no other players, the traffic is going to be lighter. But I did, even though they didn't go into the city too much, just the outskirts that they
Mm-hmm.
went through and some of the highways that they took, like the first part being that circular like ramp type of deal, having that. I wish they would have stopped at the one of the car meet spots where it's like that parking lot under part of the elevated highway. But just seeing some of the sites, I'm pretty sure we're going to have like a bullet train showcase run to go along with that Gundam or whatever robot thing as a showcase run as well. But different areas that they showed in some of the other trailers that they've showed as far as like the mountainside and just the different roads and stuff. I like the fact that there is going to be tall buildings that
Uh oh. Uh oh. Fuzzy's frozen. Am I still live, or is it just
You
fuzzy?
had like
Okay, here we
side
go.
streets and alleys.
You froze for a minute, so it was like,
Oh,
yeah, you were just there frozen, and I couldn't hear anything. So I think maybe your internet cut out for like 10 seconds or so. We can hear you again though
no,
now.
but okay. No, but just the stuff that they drove through, and you could tell they were on like restricted throttle because that's
Hmm.
lean can do in basic form 179 to 181, I think. Um, and with a tune, you could probably do a lot more. And they kept on hovering around the 140 range, so I guess they were afraid that they would wreck out or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, the areas that they showed look great. I know that there's a lot more to the city because when they came down off the highway and you saw part of it off to the right, it looks like that city would be the equivalent of probably all of like the first Forza map kind of
Right.
thing. Um, so yeah, they definitely have a lot in store for us in that regard.
I think they're
Um,
purposefully not just showing the full scale of the city itself yet. I think they're saving that
mhm,
for another summer showcase thing or something else down the road, probably.
yeah,
So can't wait,
yeah,
man.
because I figure from end to end on that map, realistically driving at top speed, it'll probably take you a half hour to get from end to end.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, what was it, Crimson uh, Desert was saying it's like a couple of hours if you're walking from end to end, but driving a car at like 170 to 200 miles an hour, a 30-minute drive, a realistic 30-minute drive in that game, that's a huge map because I think you can do um, Forza Horizon 5 from end to end in like 8 minutes, 9 minutes, or something. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait. This game has me so pumped as far as like the different things from the garage customization to some more car customization. And I know some people were nitpicking on like the S2000 with the wide body kit and stuff. And come to find out, it's the graphic setting that I guess they had it on.
Yeah.
It's just people want to nitpick at a game before they even have it in hand. But yeah, there's so much to this. Yeah, I think this game is going to be it better wind up being nominated for game of the year if it does everything that Forza Horizon 5 did. That alone would get it a game of the year, not or
Yeah.
should get it a game of the year nomination. But we'll see if Keeley wants to say, oh, it's niche, 55 million players, it's too niche for a game of the year type of game.
Yeah. Racing games aren't like they never used to be considered niche. And it was like last generation thing that everybody started calling like different genres niche. And I think Forza Horizon 5 proved that they're not niche anymore. Like, as this is like a monster. Like, I don't remember people back in the day like Need for Speed is a niche game. Those I mean, they were fucking massively popular, right? So I think it just depends on the appeal and how awesome a game is and how many people want to play it. And I think Forza has Horizon has grown that back to being something that's super popular again. And yeah, Belu like said in the chat, it's launching before the summer showcase, isn't it? Because I said something stupid, like maybe they'll reveal the city, the full scale at the summer showcase. Obviously, yeah, it's coming out in May, right? So they gotta. I think the what I'm getting at, I think there'll be something else or whatever where we actually see some more marketing about just Tokyo, right? And I think we'll see that at some point. So I don't know how. I don't know if it'll be like another trailer, blog post thing with a trailer, a video they put out explaining it all and stuff. But I think we'll get another reveal at some point, just kind of putting a bigger magnifying glass on everything to offer in the city for sure. Especially if they have a whole team building it, right? As opposed to like them before. They've never done that before, is what they said. So
Yeah.
it's absolutely awesome. Um, all right. Well, Fuzzy, you want to get to tidbits?
Oh yeah, let me get that going here.
Uh, Commando Striker says, "Why does Xbox Helix have dev kits? It's supposed to be a PC and yet needs dev kits to make games on Helix. That makes no sense since PC don't need dev kits. That's the point for going PC to ditch dev kits. Dev kits gatekeeping a lot of game devs from making games on consoles, and they are very expensive. For example, the PS2 dev kit is worth $20,000, and that's why 70% of all upcoming games are PC only. Because Project Helix is not just a PC. Um, like they're having, it's a unified gaming like device. Like that's the best way you can put it. We've never seen anything. We've never seen anything like what Project Helix is, so nobody knows what to call it, right? It's a console that's also a PC, much like every other fucking console, except it'll actually also do the PC stuff now too, right? The difference is they're making it to where the devs only have to build one version of the game now. They don't have to build a separate thing for the PC and the console. They can just focus on making it for Xbox, right? That's why you need the dev kit. That's what the dev kit's for. So when they make the game, it'll be for Project Helix. It'll be for a PC as well, or it'll be for potentially like ROG Ally or other access points as well. So they're just taking away a lot of that shit. That's why there's a dev kit, because it actually has a target optimization point that's going to be sold in masses. And it's giving tools to the developers. Also, they mentioned that the devs are going to get PlayFab for free if they bring the games to Xbox, which was a thing that they announced at the GDC. So if the devs bring the games to Xbox, they'll have PlayFab, which I didn't know 100% what PlayFab was, but it's an important thing that the devs want to be able to use for cross-platform and all this other kind of stuff. So lots of cool shit there. Lots of amazing stuff announced. The other thing they announced also is they changed the Xbox full screen experience name to Xbox Mode for PCs, and that's coming in April. So in April, if you're a PC gamer, you will be able to launch into Xbox mode if you choose, or if you want to buy a PC for your TV or whatever, laptop. If you buy a gaming laptop, you can launch into Xbox mode, and it will look like the Xbox dashboard, like kind of like an Xbox ROG Ally has, where it'll be focused on gaming. It gets rid of some of the other clutter from Windows and all that kind of stuff as well. So that way games run better. If you're familiar with things like Omen, the HP Omen Gaming Hub or whatever, or like some of these other tools that are on PCs where it gets rid of like a lot of the shit running in the background to optimize your games. Kind of does some similar stuff to that, but it makes browsing a PC way better on controller and more like a dashboard, So they're doing that's going to be going live in April. And I'm excited for that because I play Xbox on my PC all the time. So, and I like the experience of my ROG Ally. So that'll be coming. So that's pretty dope. So yeah. And none of this matters. Xbox is a dead PC. Yeah, it's all the debate about fucking is it a PC, is it a console? It's a fucking Xbox. Who cares? If it'll play the games, it'll play your console games, it'll play your PC games. It doesn't matter. It's an Xbox. It'll be sold as an Xbox. They're gonna say console, which is fine. Other people may want to say PC, which is fine. It's a fucking Xbox, and it'll play your Xbox games. So ultimately, that's what matters, right? And I think that's how they should market it. This is an Xbox. Well, that's what the whole "this was an Xbox" campaign. Market it when this comes out, and be like, "This is an Xbox." Bring it back then, and only point to that. That would be interesting. But yeah. Anyway. Tidbits. Last segment on the show, everybody, where we will look ahead at the games releasing for the week. All right, Fuzzy Belvedere, the one and only. What do we have in store, bro?
A price.
8 Ex Voto, coming to PS5 and PC today for $24.99.
By their fellows, abandoned by God, wrath and vengeance thrive like weeds.
This is an example where, a title that potentially is skipping, at least at launch, Xbox, will be still played on there by purchasing it on Steam.
This kind of looks like a poor man's Kingdom Come Deliverance. I don't know.
Well, maybe from a combat standpoint, but I
Yeah.
doubt this has the depth of all the other stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, hardly any games. I'm just saying the aesthetics of it a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Ball versus Pit, or Ball v Pit, is now coming to your handheld devices, mainly your iPhone or your Android phone. It's supposed to come to Switch 2, but they don't have a price listing, and I guess it's not out yet for the Switch 2, but it is out for mobile phones. On mobile, it is free to play with in-app purchases.
Man, I just see that trailer and I just think of all the shit I haven't unlocked yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff I've never seen playing it. I played a lot too.
All right, this one is a bit of an Xbox exclusive for right now. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, coming to Series X and S and PC today for $31.99.
And this is Xbox Anywhere, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
Well, there's your answer. And we're the ones to do it. The time to put an end to this is now.
I've been a fool.
Do.
Right, this next one is Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake, coming to PS5, Series X and S, Switch 2, and PC today for $49.99.
I have to follow my sister. The Lost Village.
You ever played a Fatal Frame, Fuzzy?
The ritual will begin soon.
No.
Come on.
There's a lot of them, aren't there? Like now,
Yeah.
like I feel like every year on Tidbits we have like 3 or 4 different Fatal Frame things.
Camera obscura.
I think Team Ninja went through doing a remake for a lot of them,
Yeah,
kind of bring them back into focus and stuff.
the whole premise of Fatal Frame just freaks me out. So, like seeing stuff through the camera lens, just like I don't know, man.
We can't escape after all. No matter what happens, I'll forgive you, Mia.
So B Luno says I just returned Fatal Frame 2 remake. It is capped at 30 frames per second on all consoles. Yeah, that sucks. What's the point of doing a remake if you're gonna?
Come on, Mia. Let's go.
I hate that when they do that stuff, man. It's like some of the Metal Gear remakes and remasters, like are only 30 frames. Like, come on. Like you're talking about like games that are 15 years old.
Yeah. This next one is Greedfall, The Dying World, coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC today for $59.99.
They slaughtered us, ripped us from our home, and bound us in chains like beasts, cast into a
This looks
world
pretty good.
that was never ours.
Yeah.
Yet some of us escaped.
This mainland
I did play
is
some of the first one.
and the people here think
Mhm.
of nothing but peace.
They're looking to blame their monstrosities and to provoke a complete war between all nations.
You've gone mad.
There's a fine line between genius and madness, but rest assured, I'm going to show you the difference.
They
Was
turned
Celasta
us
2
into
on here?
Experiments, desperate to unravel the source
Yes.
of our power.
I was supposed to play that.
Is
I haven't had a chance to.
It has only one goal.
Been too busy.
To spread death.
Soldiers, show me your worth more.
I might be streaming Celasta
Let us put
2
an end to the
this
General's
weekend.
plans.
If you guys want to check that out. But
I die for you.
Yeah.
You all know why we're here.
I'm not the forgiving type.
Now the time has come to take back what was stolen and to break.
I don't know how some of these guys do keep up with all this shit and not have regular jobs and families and stuff. Like I'm supposed to do this other video I haven't had a chance to do yet either, man. It's like crazy.
Yeah. Wait, this next one is John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC today for $39.99.
Shit ton of bullets.
I think this was one from like one of the summer showcases that we were
Yeah,
all
this
looking
is
forward to.
this week.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like there's too many games, not enough time.
I forget. They keep sneaking up on me because I remember the last time I saw this one of the trailers for this game, I was like, oh wow, they actually sold me. You know, because when I first saw it, I was like, it just kind of looks like. But the last time, I was like, oh, it actually looked a lot better, and this trailer looks great too.
Yeah.
But I
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know if I have time to play it. I haven't played Arc Raiders in like 2 days. Only thing I've done is
I
like
gotta start playing that game, but I'm too busy going back to Diablo 4 because it's season 12, and I gotta finish up playing with Blam, the realism
Yeah.
mod. Well, not mod, but the realism mode for Division 2.
Is it any good, print screen? Yeah, I want to get back. There's so many. I want to get back into Division 2 as well, fuzz.
Yeah. Like, this one is Realm, Warped Worlds, and Troubled Times, coming to PC this Thursday or today for $11.99. Yeah, the realism mod. Think of the gun mechanics from Ghost Recon, kind of, where
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about enemies being bullet sponges, but those blue boxes that you would normally see throughout the map, they don't work. So you gotta kill enough enemies for the ammo to drop. So you gotta be more selective with your shots. I mean, it's not like a Resident Evil
Yeah.
by any means kind of thing, but I think assault rifles, well, or mainly just rifles in general, sniper rifles or regular rifles are probably the best bet. Your machine guns and SMGs, you gotta be a little bit more sparing. Or get better pistols and then use those. You have infinite ammo for those. Just gotta worry about the reloads.
These guys kind of look like Smurfs.
Right, this is the one you were talking about earlier, Celasta
Yeah.
2. Coming to early access on PC today for $35.99.
The first Last is a very good game.
Mhm.
It's just one of these top-down tactical RPGs, kind of like a Divinity or like Baldur's Gate 3, you know.
Mhm.
Who are you then, strangers?
We are Cold Walls 2.
I'll
Hey,
probably
create
be
your own
streaming
party,
this
yeah.
this weekend.
Welcome to my emporium of everything, travelers.
Whenever you're ready, let's hit the road.
I love this genre in general, you know.
Well met, newcomers. Harold Strongarm at your service.
Razor Ultra, it's the golden age of gaming.
Take 5.
There's so much to play, bro. So much. Remember, folks, it's the golden age of gaming. Play what you love what you play. Don't let anybody tell you different. That sound a little bit like Pong.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm excited to play this. This is like so up my alley.
Yeah.
Why did it get quiet all of a sudden?
Don't fool yourselves.
Where is Pong at? He's been too long.
Stop me.
He's been moving. But there goes the audio. It just came back. Holy shit. So yeah, he's been really busy. But hopefully he'll feel like coming on and doing some stuff when he gets settled.
Yeah.
I'll try and convince him, everybody. I know you all miss him.
We finally meet.
I miss my brother too, man. He's not on social media though this lately because of Lent.
You have my total attention now.
Alright, this is Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered, coming to your mobile device, iOS and Android this Thursday. Free to play with in-app purchases.
I want this one too.
Years ago, Mother returned home carrying a
Did I skip
crystallized
one?
egg.
Oh no, this is Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection, coming to PS5, Series X and S, and Switch 2 and PC this Friday for $69.99.
All this time I eschewed my royal duties and tried to push any thoughts of my mother from my mind. All of that has brought me here.
I was thinking, Fuzz,
My mother.
instead of doing tidbits next week, we should do
Even
20
I know
questions.
nothing about them. I can't stand it anymore.
Okay.
We've been playing a lot of 20
We've
questions.
borne witness to the Rathalos'
Me and my
return from
wife and
extinction.
daughter. And I remember
The
listening.
sort of
You ever
element
listen
you
to
can
that
look forward to again.
podcast Game Scoop? I don't know if they
Learned of all
do
the
it now,
lives
but or
lost
still.
in the Rift
But it
War.
was
Then perhaps he's told
it
you
was
that
one of the
200
IGN
years
podcasts. I
ago
used to
was
listen
the
to it back in the
source
day a
of all
lot.
feral monsters.
And they always did 20 questions on it at the end. And it was just fun to listen to because I was always trying to guess what game it was, you know. So chat, let me know if you guys would want to do gaming 20
I heard Azuria
questions
had made a hostage of you, but I never imagined they'd take
instead
your
of
spirit
tidbits
as
at
well.
some point.
War will only harm our people and further endanger our kingdom. You know that as well as I do, Clarissa.
This isn't Ranger
Because I think next week is pretty much going to be absorbed by Crimson Desert.
Yeah,
I've been prepared for this my whole life, Captain. I swear I'll win. So just watch.
which I'm sure we'll be talking about Crimson
Okay,
Desert during the
let's get
show.
going.
Yeah.
Counting on you for backup, Captain.
We'll take that beast down this time, right, lad?
This is you we're talking about. I just know you're gonna offer to help with my other work.
There must be a path forward without bloodshed.
We'll have Starfield news maybe to talk about.
We've all got your back.
Yeah.
Stand tall. We know you can do this.
2 centuries
It
ago,
appears.
our ancestors committed a grave sin. We have to accept these transgressions. And as riders, it's our responsibility.
See if the reviewers all of a sudden like the game again with their DualSense controllers. I didn't realize how long this trailer was. We can
lose, right? So you guys could have fun trying to guess too. I really like 20 questions.
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm General Johnny Rico, and I want to thank you for
Oh,
doing your
this
part
next one, I
by
can
tuning
probably
into this
unmute.
broadcast. Are you
This
thinking
next
about
one
starting on the road
is
to
Helldivers 2. No, I'm
This
sorry.
game will test your mettle.
Starship
Make sure you
Troopers
have what it takes
Ultimate
to
Bug
really
War.
give those bugs hell.
Coming to PS5, Series X and S, Switch 2 and PC this Monday for $24.99.
So I've played. What's the other Starship Troopers game I've been playing, or I played?
Oh, Helldivers? I mean,
No, like it came out after Helldivers.
Would you
yeah,
like to know
there was one. I think it came out late last year. That was essentially a Helldivers 2 knockoff of the Starship Trooper IP knockoff.
So how is this different? Because this one looks shittier.
I think this one is geared to be a single player first person only.
Okay.
Right. This next one is 7 Deadly Sins Origin, coming to PS5 and PC this Monday, and free to play.
Yeah, I played. Yeah, Proper Haters that he has that Starship Troopers game on PC. Yeah, I have it on Xbox. Yeah, it looked way better than that shit that we're just seeing here. That looks like fucking like Nintendo 64 graphics or some shit. You know, like. I was thinking maybe it's a retro game that was being brought back.
I think that may.
Hopefully that's the case. I don't know. Arigato. Yeah, Starship Troopers Extermination.
Right, this next one is Dead Zone Rogue, coming to Nintendo Switch 2 this Tuesday for $19.99.
Progression you get in roguelikes, and we were inspired to create an FPS roguelike in our favorite genre, sci-fi.
Sci-fi lets us imagine.
Why don't you just create a good sci-fi game? Why'd you have to make a fucking roguelike? Why does everything have to be a fucking roguelike or Souls-like?
Unique enemies and snappy gunplay that leaves a lasting impact.
We hope you enjoy playing Dead Zone Rogue.
It's either roguelike, Souls-like, or Metrovania. You gotta blame things like Hades' success or Silk Song's success.
A new sci-fi shooter that combines tight, satisfying gunplay with strategic progression.
Select missions.
I like the games that I have that are roguelikes. Yeah, I'm just sick of like every fucking game that comes out now. Like, it's like, hey, this is our take on a roguelike. Let's combine first-person shooter with roguelike. Let's combine this genre with roguelike. Let's do this with roguelike. Let's do this with roguelike. Let's do this as a like just. Not everything has to be a roguelike. Just make a fucking first-person shooter.
Fight, revive, adapt, repeat in.
I say they need to go back to making more looter shooters.
System, March 17th.
And I like roguelikes, just like the creativity of it's like forcing things to be genres because of the popularity of the genres instead of just making the games you want to make, you know? Like
This next one is Dread Delusion, coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch 2 this Tuesday for $9.99.
Is the age of delusion.
I like the music.
Visuals, very much Switch 1, but, you know.
I get the whole retro look and stuff. It's just sometimes retro looks good, sometimes it just looks like shit, and that to me that one just looked like shit, you know.
Right, this is Elemental Reforged. Coming Tuesday for $24.99.
The actual gameplay footage they're showing is way better than all the other random like cutscene stuff. Yeah. Like I'm interested to see the tactics mechanics, you know.
Yeah.
Elemental Reforged.
This next one is early access called Everwind. Coming to PC this Tuesday, also for $24.99.
That looked just like Minecraft, bro.
I had to take a double take when I wrote the title.
Yeah.
I was like, Everwild? Wait, what? Oh, Everwind. It looks like Minecraft has a title like a rare game. And it's an early access for $24.99. I believe one of the main things you're supposed to work on is building an airstrip.
I mean, this is just a Minecraft ripoff.
Pretty much.
Maybe there's a story to it or something.
Yeah, it looks like you fight Skeletor on a spaceship or airship.
Everwind. Right, this next one is MLB The Show 26, coming to PS5, Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch. Well, yeah, we're in March. It's baseball time.
Yeah.
I imagine this is gonna be licensed music too, so I muted it.
Yeah, mute it.
Is it just me, or have the graphics gotten worse every year in MLB The Show the last several years? Progressively.
I think they may have had to take a step back so it works fine on the Switch. Although this was off of PlayStation's site, so
like the character animations, the character models, they just don't look as realistic as they used to. I would argue that the character models and stuff looked better on PS3, PS4 era than the way that the character models are looking now. There's something weird looking about them. Like there was a point where it's like, oh, this shit's starting to look so real, and the MLB The Show was like amazing, and now it's getting to the point where I'm looking at this stuff and like the way that the throwing motions are, the way that the batting, the swings, like the faces look weird. Like it's just not like that photorealism kind of look that they used to have.
yeah. I mean, for me, I think the last time I bought it was 21 or 22. Since then, like I think 23 and 24 looked okay. I don't think 25 looked all that great. I didn't even consider buying 25.
Yeah. I mean, the gameplay, the game
Some of the
is
stuff
fun.
looks okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying as far as like some of the picture movements and things.
Yeah, it's so unnatural. Like I bought last year's game. I played the one. I played each one. You know, it's like a progressive thing. I'm noticing. That might be PC maps. No, I'm talking about like old school MLB The Show compared to like today.
Another thing, I wish they would put it on PC at this point.
I've been playing the show since PS2. Like, I'm a big MLB The Show fan.
The supper was missing. Looks like another caper for
it's just I've noticed like them going downhill on the way it looks and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah. This one is Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club, coming to Switch 2 this Tuesday for $39.99.
Featuring Peppermint Patty.
Now let's see what you got, Jeff. Let's go.
Linus and Lucy.
You
Franklin.
just excited for the show.
Sally Brown.
You should go there, Snoopy.
Pigpen.
Hello there, Great Mystery Club.
The kite-eating tree.
That's just your imagination.
And the round-headed kid himself.
Charlie Brown. Hi, Charlie Brown. Good grief.
Join Snoopy and the gang. Sniff out the clues and crack the case before supper gets cold. Snoopy and the Great Mystery Club.
You not hear the teacher at all during this going wah 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 wah.
Peggy 16.
All right, this last one is Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shotgun, or I'm sorry, Blades of the Shogun, coming to Switch 2 this Wednesday for $39.99.
Behind enemy lines again. A fine explosion. None shall remain standing.
Just like a shinobi.
Oh, you're good, Lydian. Yeah, we're watching like games releasing for the week. We do this on all of the shows on Thursdays. We'll look ahead at the games releasing this week. This looks pretty good. No, is Mofo. It says, is Screamer in this? I don't know. Is Screamer releasing this week, Fuzzy? I don't think it is. Is it?
I don't think so.
Screamers?
No.
That was the last one. That's a
Yeah,
good
it was the last
franchise. I like those games. Shadow Tactics. Well, that was it. Thanks, Fuzz. When does Screamers come out? Because that's one I've been keeping an eye on, but I don't know when it comes out. They're acting so goofy, man. I know they're coming through. I have no idea what they're saying or doing, but Screamers is like that anime kind of racing. It was like it's an arcade racer that looks like a regular like arcade racer, but it's got like anime characters and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. We need more.
Oh, March
variety.
26th. So in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Give or take.
Right on. Cool. Well, thanks again, Fuzz. Everybody, we had a GDC this week for Xbox, so we talked a lot about that. We'll have probably some more information, I guess, trickling out from that over the coming days as well. And lots to look forward to right now. Lots of games to play now, but also lots of games to look forward to later this year. And, lots of cool updates too. Like I saw that they're talking about even the ROG Xbox Ally is getting another update for something like the super resolution stuff and all that kind of shit. It's all interesting for tech people to look at. I just want to see the results, but if I can feel them when I play all the games now, because like all the games are getting better and better and better. It seems like next week Crimson Desert comes out, so that's going to be pretty awesome as well. So we'll be talking about that next week. But I want to thank everybody for joining in the chat. You guys rock. Appreciate everyone always being here, and thanks for all the support for this channel. And just saying hello or whatever. If you guys interact in the chat, it means a lot. Spotify listeners or audio listeners, wherever you are, notice there's been some decent growth there on audio. So I don't know how all of a sudden people are finding us on audio, but appreciate y'all for watching. If you're on audio, or great, and you like our content there, even though you can hear my wife and my daughter laughing in the background and making jokes, then you can, if you do like the content, then you can go on Spotify or your audio platform and leave a review or whatever. That helps people find us, as well as on YouTube. For all of our people here live, hit the like button, share it out, notification bell, sub, all that kind of stuff greatly helps us. And you rock. Also, Poison puts in the chat usually during the shows the Discord. We have Discord. You want to come hang out and have conversations with other speculators there as well. Make sure to do that. But yeah, appreciate you all, and I hope you have a good one. With Fuzzy, thanks for being here, bro. Tell everybody where they can find your other 100 podcasts that you co-host and ramble and rant on as well, bro.
Oh, as always, love doing this podcast on Thursday evenings with you. Always love talking about the industry and Xbox and just games in general. Got a lot of stuff coming up here. Looking forward to Crimson Desert, like you said, next week. But as far as this week, I'm still counting down the days for Forza Horizon 6. So everybody get ready. I think we're about 66 days away or 64 days away, something like along those lines. But as always, you can find me on social media. You can also find me on Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick on Mondays and Fridays. And then on me and my wife's podcast for Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, Fridays at 6 p.m. We'll be talking about Dark Skies. I think it's like a 2013 alien abduction type of horror movie kind of thing. So
who was in that one? Who was in Dark Skies?
Dark Skies. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I saw that one.
You have Kerry Russell and Jake Brennan.
I think we did see that.
Oh, and J.K. Simmons was in it as well.
Okay, I think I saw that one. I think I remember. That one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Speaking of alien movies, when I was a kid, I saw Fire in the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
That one freaked me the fuck out when I was a kid. So if anybody watched Fire in the Sky, if you remember that movie, that one freaked me out. Anyway, sorry to interrupt, Fuzz.
We try to bounce between sci-fi, zombies, vampires, and stuff like that for some of the movies. We were originally going to do something for Friday the 13th, but our timing on our end didn't work out. So Dark Skies is going to be the movie we talk about. And a lot of times we go off on the rail or go off the rails sometimes. So Yeah, just come hang out 6 p.m. Friday night. But other than that, hope to see everybody right back here, same time, same place next Thursday for tidbits and whatever else we have for Xbox news, which pretty sure we'll get some more good stuff between now and next Thursday.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, thanks, Fuzz. Chat, you rock. Fuzz, you rock. Everyone have a good one. Take it easy. See you later. Bye.